Take a look at this, everyone. Can you believe what's just come running onto the scene? A leopard, and he's after these piglets. Has he got one? We're going to need to move quickly. I don't think he has. The kudu have just disappeared. Hold tight, everyone. We still got everyone. I'm not sure it's a male leopard. That much I can tell you, but who, I'm not sure. Shame there's still a piglet here. Where's the leopard? The leopard straight in front of us. Going on towards 11 o'clock. Now, maybe he was the one who managed to... Yeah, it is a male. Maybe he is the individual who managed to catch one of those poor piglet siblings. Whew. I don't know what got my attention, but I just looked behind me and I just saw this huge male leopard running at full tilt. What routes are we going to take? We should be able to make it through here. There's just one or two stumps. Can you hear us? Tree squirrel alarm calling now. Now I don't want to lose this leopard. This is such a good opportunity for us to stay with him. He's still definitely working this herd of piglets, this sounder of warthogs. And he's just alongside us now. I'm just going to find a good spot for us to stop. Now, it seems like the piglets did scatter in all directions, so he still does have a chance of actually catching one. Oh, how incredible is this? And you can still see he's very, very intent. How cool is this? You see, he's trying to pick up the scent of them now. Isn't it incredible how they can not only use their eyes and their ears, but also their noses to help detect prey? Look at this. On the trail now. It looks to me like a fairly young leopard. Who knows, maybe Tumba, maybe Hosana. I certainly... just sitting quietly and patiently at that waterhole, and all of a sudden, all hell broke loose. Yeah, it should be fine, Nikki. We're thinking about doing an action broadcast. I was just letting Nikki know that I do think we should. Of the afternoon, it's been non-stop jam-packed action of varying kind of genres, you could say. No hunting, but some cuteness with the hyena, some interesting stuff unfolding with Tingana and Chitwa, and now this young male leopard who is searching for a meal. Now, I'm guessing this mother piglet is long gone, but he seems to think he's still on their trail, and he could well be. I really wonder if it was him that managed to catch one of the other piglets. I just need to call on the Gain Drive radio quickly what's going on. Station's located a young Madora Ingwe. He's just south of Treehouse Dam now. Mobile south and west, Lanzering some bonchies. Okay, I just needed to let everyone know, because of course we need to share these magical scenes and sightings in the hope that the same thing will happen when other guides find interesting stuff unfolding just like this. Surprisingly, there's so much going on this afternoon that actually nobody's got back to me. Quarantine, another beautiful big male leopard's been found off to our east, and obviously Noel's got Tingana and Chitwa, and now we've got this young male, and I'm surprised none of you have let us know who he is yet. I guess we haven't had the best views, but some of you guys are absolute wizards when it comes to IDing these animals. I'm surprised how close he got to them, but we'll continue discussing that a little bit later. We are ready to welcome on the extra folks on the action broadcast. I'm just going to have to keep quiet for a second or two. Hello everyone, and welcome to this action Vision broadcast. We are coming to you live from South Africa in the Sabi Sands, and we are on the trail of a young male leopard. I'm not too sure exactly how old he is, but I can tell he's a bit young, and he's desperately trying to seek out a family of warthog. We were sitting patiently at a waterhole, actually watching the warthog drink, and then also all of a sudden all hell broke loose, and this young male leopard came charging in and got very close to catching one of these tiny little piglets, and now he's trying to follow their scent trail. He's just up ahead of us. Let me stop here to give you a quick view of him. There he goes. Absolutely beautiful. Ooh, incredible. I think he's managed to find, and I thought he was poking his head into a hole. I thought for a second he'd managed to find a burrow that they may have tried to disappear down to escape him, but he's continued on, so I guess I must have been wrong. Whew. Quite a lot of impala in this area, and who knows what other prey he could possibly stumble upon. Now, when following animals through thick vegetation like this, we try and kind of keep our distance, but keep an eye on them so as to not impact or interfere in their plans. Now, Lee, I'm not too sure which leopard this is. We've only had a few quick glimpses of him. I'm guessing not Tingana, suggests that it could well be Hosana from the views that you've got. We also did see an unknown male leopard, also fairly young, in this area about a couple of weeks ago, so maybe it's him. Let's hope I haven't lost him. I've had to take quite a wide berth, but I can hear birds alarm calling, so he must be nearby. I can hear a whole bunch of birds that will be mobbing him. We got him again, not to worry. Ooh. One or two bumps here, and the joy of being on a live safari is you are here for every bump along the way. There's nothing scripted or edited or planned. We just have to roll with the punches, and when the going's good, it's good, and sometimes when it's tricky like now, you're here for every step of the way. Okay, just going to go around again. Now that I've got a visual of him, I think we'll be able to get another pathway to loop ahead. Jean, who's watching all the way from Vancouver Island, and it's wonderful to have you with us. If any of you are joining for the first time, I must reiterate that this is of course live, and if you'd like to ask us any questions or if you've got any comments, please pop them in the comment box below. We would love to hear from you and interact with you. Sorry, I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get you a visual of him soon, but he is highly, highly mobile. Okay, let's stop here. We should get some good views. He's going to come straight past us here. You can still see he's holding his head quite low to the ground, so he could well still be following the scent trail of these warthogs. Isn't this beautiful? Hello, boy. Not having much luck, are you? He's got a distinctive little notch off the top of his left ear, so that's going to be a good characteristic. A little notch that I noticed missing there, so I'm not sure if that helps any of you IDing him. What an incredible, incredible scene. I'm only just getting my heart rate down to a kind of fairly decent level now after the excitement of him coming storming onto the scene. As close as he did to the warthog, he was very lucky because he came running in from a very, very long way. It comes to his hunting, it seems. All right. Now, because we can't stay too close with him, you guys are just going to have to be patient. I am doing my best to stay with him, and I'm sure we will get some more views, but it may take a minute or two before we get into our next spot. Lee, you want wondering how big is he in terms of kind of weight. A young male like this, I would guess to be around, 70 or 80 kilograms. A big male would be somewhere around 100 kilograms as a rough guesstimate, but we are only ever guessing. These animals never really get tranquilized and actually weighed, so it's always just kind of a bit of a thumbsuck. It's hard to be certain. Hoping he's going to pop out somewhere here shortly. There was a bit of a thick area that we couldn't follow him through. It opens up quite nicely here, so if he did continue on the same trajectory that he was moving on, I'm sure we should get a view of him any second now. Maybe he's up on a termite mound up ahead, a good vantage point for him to scan for any other prey. Oh, he's behind it. Okay, well done, Sens. He's just slunk behind the termite mound, so I'm going to shortly stop and get you another good view. Here we go. He is looking very, very intent, and you can see his belly is empty. Who knows when he had his last meal, but he could definitely do with another one. And I can't believe it, but I'm confident that he's still following their scent trail. You noticed how his head and nose are to the ground, and I've actually very seldomly seen a leopard hunt like this, using the scent of their prey to keep trying to follow them. But he's clever, because he knows that warthog lives in burrows. Have been noticed sometimes in excess of 48 hours waiting on top of the termite mound, in the knowledge that at some point they're going to have to come charging out. Now, there is a termite mound just ahead of us. Who knows? Maybe that is where the warthogs fled to, and maybe that's where he's going to end up camping out. Okay, well, Mike, you with us all the way in the Dominican Republic, and I'm glad that you approve and say that this is some incredible footage that we are sharing with you. It certainly is. And they got a good old whipping there. Just need to update all the regular game drive vehicles and just tell them where we are now, because it's going to be very difficult for them to get to us. Stations and updates on this young Madoda Ingwe. He is mobile south and west from Treehouse down in the block. It's going to be very tricky for anyone to get to him. I'll update you when he's back on the road. Sorry everyone, it's just very important that we do share information with the other vehicles that are moving in this area, because we all like to share sightings with one another. And we've actually got no idea where we are now. I'm a bit discombobulated. But he seems to be possibly calming down a little bit. Is he still following their scent? It seems like it is. Let's keep catching up with him. It doesn't get any better than this, guys. A beautiful, beautiful leopard on the move in the sunshine like this. What a treat. Lee, you'd like to know how close are we to one of our other guides who's currently with two leopard, a male and a female. We're not very close to them, Noel, probably about a mile and a bit, I would say, directly to the west. You may see another vehicle shortly. Now the leopard's trotting again, which seems to make me think that he's detected something. Maybe it's the warthogs he's caught up to, I'm not too sure. Let's see if we can get back into a better spot here. Ooh, this is going to be tricky. It's thick here, so I'm going to have to, I know this area quite well, and we're going to have to try and plan our attack here. What's up, Ham? You'd like to know if they will ever attack humans if they get hungry. Well, there have been very, very few cases of leopards attacking and eating humans here in Africa. It does happen from time to time. Here he comes. But it's certainly not the norm, and I haven't heard of any leopards in the specific area that we're in ever doing that. It's usually in areas where animals get forced out of natural habitats, where they have to live alongside humans, where they may become very, very desperate. Here we're very, very fortunate in that these animals become used to our presence. They don't see us as food. They don't see us as a threat. They merely see us as spectators into their lives. So as long as we respect them and give them their distance, they can hiss and growl and snarl at us if we're getting too close. And then we just back up. And of course, if they've ever got cubs, they're also a little bit more nervous of us and cautious. Not nervous of us, but just, you know, the maternal instinct kicks in, and they like to try to obviously make sure that their youngsters are not under threat. So those are a few examples of where leopards may get irritable with us, but as a general rule, they do not see us as a food source. Yes, Robin, he is certainly beautiful, and just like you, I also do love watching them hunt. It's one of the most exciting things, and it's important to remember that, you know, the big cats of Africa sleep for 18 to 20 hours every day, so the fact that we have got this little window of 4 to 6 hours that they move during broad daylight is further kind of testament to how fortunate we are at the moment. Better these wild animal senses are than ours, not just their sight. And as he starts to move through this thicker vegetation, you get a good idea of how well that camouflage works when he just dissolves into the thickets. Well, it seems like the warthog has done a good job dodging him. I can't remember if I mentioned to you guys since you joined that we've been following this family of warthog quite closely. The mother's very relaxed with us, so we've been having some wonderful views of what were 4 piglets, and we saw 4 of them together yesterday, but only 3 today. So who knows, maybe this leopard or another one has already managed to catch one of their siblings, which is of course a little bit sad, but it is a reality out here. The carnivores need to eat, and sadly at the moment, you know, there's a lot of youngsters around. Well, not sadly, but it's, you know, sadly for the youngsters, sadly for their mothers, but obviously it's a great bonus and time for the leopards to cash in on some easy meals. Having so many youngsters around that are born in correlation with the bountiful summer. It is the greenest. Thanks, Senzo. I'm teamed up with Senzo on camera today, so he's just helping me keep track of views as he hopefully slinks towards us now. Now, if any of you are unaware of what we do, this is a part of a twice daily live safari that we've invited you onto. We do 2-3 hour broadcasts, sometimes more, every single day, with a couple of vehicles here in South Africa where we are, and another few vehicles and guides up in the Masai Mara in Kenya. So be sure to stay tuned to the notifications if you would like to be informed of any more interesting and exciting incredible sighting with some hyena cubs, and also just anything of interest. We like to without too much trouble. So big thanks for joining. That was very, very exciting. I hope everyone's still in one piece after all that bundu bashing, and it was great to have you guys on board. We will see you all next time. Thick and thin. Thank you. And whew, what an exciting scene. I wonder how close he got to that warthog. Senzo did really well on camera because we got totally ambushed. Now, is anybody confirmed who this leopard is yet. Because I've had a few possible guesses, but no actual confirmation. I don't have a clue, so... But it seems like a lot of you are guessing that it is Hosana. So, for now, we will take it that it's Hosana. Where has it gone now? I'm told he used to love spending a lot of time in this area. I'm just giving a thumbs up to Herbie, who's guiding some guests at the moment. And he's had a great afternoon. He was at Angama and Chitwa a little bit earlier. Now he's with this young male. So his guests are going to be loving him. Okay, guys. Well, Herbie's giving me some... Wait. He's just kind of behind the termite mound. You can see him moving there. And let's see if we don't get super lucky. And if he comes up onto this termite mound, we are going to be in pole position. Sorry, let me just roll a bit forward. There we go. Hey, boy, you've been a very busy lad this afternoon. You can still see he's trying desperately to smell. And I guess he knows if he finds where they bunker down, like I said a bit earlier, he's kind of going around in circles, his front end, whilst when he works out where next he's going to go. We will call you back immediately, but for now, we are going to be sending you all the way back up to the Masai Mara with Ralph. Welcome back, everyone. You can see a few little spots hidden in the undergrowth. He's just stopped there planning his next move. I wonder what it's going to be. But either way, I'm very happy and hugely grateful that we are spending our afternoon like this. It really doesn't get much better. We are quite close to our southern boundary. That is my only fear and concern, that he may slink off. If he heads south, it'll take him 30 seconds from where we are to head into an area where we cannot follow him. So let's cross fingers that he heads either north or east. Would be first prize for me. Let's see if we can't get in front of him again. He seems to be kind of slowing down a bit, so I don't blame him. He's moved quite a big distance in a short space of time, up and down, backwards, forwards. He's just stopped in his tracks there. Has he spotted something ahead of him? I don't think so. Let's try and get you another quick view. I'm told Taylor has just, Noel has just arrived at the Chitwa waterhole and would like you to come across there. But I think we are going to get some great views of him coming straight towards us here. And then we can... There we go. Well, ideally he continues towards us in this perfect afternoon light. Look at this. I wonder if he still has their sense. I mean, he could well. The well, it's quite thick around us. I'm looking. I can't see anything. But you can see he is very composed. What can you hear in there? They are such cool animals. Chitwa asking whether I think he's lost dogs. I mean, I'm inclined to say yes, but the fact that he keeps sniffing the ground the way he does gives me a little bit of kind of apprehension to be certain that that is the case. You see what he's doing now? Is he smelling the scents of them, or is it something else he's smelling? But as soon as he left as soon as he continued to try and follow these animals as they bombshelled off in all directions, he was definitely smelling the ground. He had his nose right down to the ground, and he was following their trail initially. Whether he's managed to follow it all this way, I can't be certain. What I can tell you, though, is that we are about to get some epic views. Perfect sunshine, straight to... What is going to be your next move? Are you going to go to your right or to your left? We would prefer if you went to your left and came out into another little gap for us. I think he will, because it was a little bit thick to his right. Oh, they are such epic animals. Can you believe this? He's going to stroll just a few meters past our vehicle. Thank you, Eleanor, for confirming that it's Hosana. And isn't it fascinating how relaxed these animals are with us, just a few meters from the vehicle? And that really is testament to good guiding and good ethics and good practice of habituating these animals from when they're young. And that means that we get these magical moments once they've grown up, and we get to have the privilege of gaining a lot of insight into their lives. Okay, Magic. Well, we're going to have to loop ahead of this youngster again, and while we do that, it'll be a good time to send you across to Noel. I wonder what's happening at the waterhole. Well, thankfully for now, he's not heading any closer to our southern boundary, but he's literally just come in a westerly direction, turned around, and headed straight back east. So he's keeping us guessing, and that's why we don't have the view we were hoping to have of him for you by the time you rejoined us. He walked past this tree earlier and kind of looked up it, and I was hoping he was going to hop up it, but he decided not to at the last moment. So that was his way that way. Now he's heading back. And we've got some exciting news for all of you. The team in FC have put together a little slow motion clip of when he came charging into the scene at the waterhole. A lot of you wouldn't have been able to actually see what happened, including all of us, and you're about to enjoy a little bit of a slow-mo reveal of what actually went down. So I hope you enjoy, and I wish I was also getting to watch. Can you believe what's just come running onto the scene? A leopard, and he's up. Your thoughts, because we don't really do replays that much, and it's something we would like to try and do a little bit more often for you, especially in scenes like that, when unless you slow it down, no one will actually know what happened. So do let us know your thoughts about the action replays, and it sounded epic. Now he's veered south. I'm hoping he's just trying to find a little drink in this little muddy wallow. There's not much here for him to drink, but I'm guessing that could be his plans. And he is continuing towards us, so we should get some great views of him. Now, from what I understand, he did used to spend a lot of time in and around this area when he was a youngster, so he knows it very well. I love the way they sneak up quite stealthily when they head up onto termite mounds like this, just to make sure there's no prey opportunities nearby. And there sadly doesn't appear to be anything for him to snack on in the immediate vicinity, but that could change in a heartbeat. The vegetation here is so thick that often we don't know exactly what's happening in and around us. Now, what are your plans? And thanks for everyone's kind remarks regarding that clip. You've already started sending us back some feedback, and we are hugely thankful for that feedback, so thank you. And I guess that's what you get if you join along. If you're not here on these live safaris, then you miss out on the action. If you are, well then, you're in pole position. So thanks for joining in, because it would be very lonely if it was just Senzo and I out here. It's not to say we wouldn't have a good time, we would just be a little bit lonely. Now his general movements are kind of tending to be in a southerly direction for now. Let's hope like he sticks to his kind of afternoon method, which has been backwards, forwards, north, south, east, west. He's been heading in every direction available at some point this afternoon, so he very easily could turn around and head back in an appropriate direction, just like he's doing now. Finally, time to rest. I think that's a good idea. I also need a bit of a breather after all of that. And while we reposition, we're going to send you off to some playful hippos with Noel. Yes, we are still with young Hosana, and he's just catching his breath. Who knows how long he'll want to relax in the shade here. What I've been thinking to myself is, how long has he been lurking back on Djuma without us having found him? I hope it hasn't been too long, because it would be terrible if we've been missing out on spending time with him. It's the first time that I think he's been seen on the property since I've been here. So close on a month now. He's spending a lot of time actually where Noel is hanging out at the moment, around that waterhole. He likes it over there. It's probably around 2 miles from here, almost directly to the east of us, slightly south. But I'm just, again, hugely grateful that we are sitting here with a beautiful young male leopard after all that chaos and excitement when he came charging into the scene at the treehouse waterhole. I cannot wait to watch that slow motion clip that all you guys got to have a peek at, to see actually what went down, because it was quite far away and it was just a cloud of dust and a whole lot of really fast movements when things did get exciting towards the end of that chase. You wonder how many times that poor family of warthogs have been terrified by leopard. We know that sometime between yesterday and today, one of them was caught, sadly. Maybe by him, maybe by another leopard, who knows. Lions could have got a hold of it. It's quite sad that warthog mommy is abnormally relaxed with our presence, which means that her youngsters will probably also become relaxed, so we want as many of them to survive as possible. So Hosana, rather go and eat some impala. Something else. Leave those piggies alone. Now what's interesting here, I'm thinking of doing a little bit of an experiment to show you guys how easy it would be to drive past this leopard. Basically, if you, let me show you quickly, Sense, if you don't mind zooming out here quickly, and I can just show you with my hands what's kind of going on. Let me think of a good way to do this. Come here, Sense. So let's just say that there's a road up ahead of us, which is this one, and then another one to the left of us, which is this one, and this little patch here is the mud wallow, you can say, that little speaker. And if we were to just zoom out a tiny bit so we can see both the roads, perfect, like that. If we were to drive along this road and this road, he's lying just to the side of this little wallow behind a bush. There is almost no chance that we would see him. And seeing as though he's sleeping, let's just do that quickly. I just want to show you guys how easy it is to drive past these animals. And I often wonder to myself, especially when we're driving around on the quieter days, how many animals have we driven past that are just lying a few meters off the road and we've got no idea that they're actually there. And this will be a very good example to show you guys how tricky it actually is. Okay, so we're back on the road. We're assuming we're just driving along normally. Is Hosana here today? Doesn't look like it to me. So he's directly behind that bush over there. Now zoom in, Senzo, even when Senzo zooms in fully. Can you see a leopard there? Nothing. But that's where he is. He's lying down right behind that bush, I think. Either way, you get the you kind of get the message, don't you? I mean, it's only 20 meters or so away. We'll go around onto the other side here now. This other road I was telling you about, still scanning. Nothing here. 1 second, I'm just going to stop up ahead. Is Liz, you worried I'm going to lose him now? Anything's possible. So here's the little mud wallow. Let's have a quick zoom in. All around behind there. Which bush was he behind? He was behind one of these bushes, but is it that one there, Sens? So
this one.
It's behind one of these two bushes, but you kind of get the drift, guys. He is right here. It's only 20 meters away, and we've got no idea he's there. Well, we do, but we wouldn't ordinarily. Even though we know where to look and what to look for, we can't see him, and he's so close. Yes, Project Alpha, I'm very happy you've commented because you've nailed it. You've said that is why tracking is so important, and you've got to keep your eyes down on the road, up in the trees, everywhere, all the time, otherwise you will miss things. It was. And even now that we're in position, before Senzo zooms in, we can hardly even tell where he is. But he's still lying there. We didn't lose him, so that's the good news. Ravenlock, you've mentioned ninja leopard, and a lot of you have also mentioned how crazy this guy's camouflage is, and yes, it certainly is. To be honest though, we could paint him bright pink, and just lying in the spot that he is now, I don't think we would have seen him due to the fact that there was just bushes in the way. But yes, I mean, the fact that their camouflage definitely doesn't help the matter. Mario, you ask a great question. You're wondering whether the female warthog would have managed to round up all of her piglets by now after all of that chaos. And I think she actually managed to do it quite quickly after the initial kind of attack. She seemed to be kind of trying to gather all of them before she headed off. I can't be certain that was the case. And I also am not certain whether she would have left a burrow. I'm sure she would have kind of tried to escape into a burrow. If she only had two of them with her, would she already come out after being scared like that? I'm not certain. And to be honest, I've very actually seldomly seen a leopard hunt warthog like that. Usually leopards and most predators will charge in, miss their prey, and then leave them. But it was very, very interesting to see how he was continuing to trail them for such a long distance. Yeah, I wonder. I'm kind of inclined to think that if one did get missing in the chaos or go missing in the chaos, that she probably would have focused her attentions on just making sure whichever piglets did stay with her were safe, and of course herself, before coming out and searching for the missing individual. So that would be my guess. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could just go and interview her now and ask her her thoughts on what just happened, her side of the story, also to hear what the piglets have to say. But sadly, we're not going to have that joy. Annie, you mentioning how wonderful these vehicles are for being able to keep us in close to the action, following these animals off-road as they do their things. And yes, we are very, very lucky to have these vehicles, and I don't think I will be able to go back to a regular length game viewer in the Sabi Sands after being spoilt with these little things. They're like little go-karts. They can go just about anywhere. Certainly a lot more maneuverable than the longer wheel-based versions of them, which everyone else drives around. And it's the same long wheel version that Taylor and Rolf are driving around up in the Mara. But up in the Mara, as you guys are well aware, it's very, very easy to off-road as a general rule. It's wide open, whereas here it is a lot more tricky. Oh, well, we've got some great news, everyone. We've got somebody who's just stumbled upon Safari Live. Jiro Kiko, I am so happy that you found us and that you give us the thumbs up. You say that you're going to continue to log in and keep watching the live safaris, and we urge you to, because there's a whole lot of magic that unfolds out here. And if you've just tuned in recently, it's important that you know that at the moment, we're in the Sabi Sands. I'm Scott. It's good to meet you. And I'm teamed up with Senzo on camera. And we've also got a crew up in the Masai Mara. So it's not just us here in South Africa in a beautiful reserve called the Sabi Sands. It's in the Kruger National Park, very large national park in South Africa, but also up in Kenya in the very well-renowned Masai Mara Reserve. So two very different ecosystems that you have the joy of being able to explore alongside with us. Good to have you with us, Jiro Kiko. Now, how much longer are you going to snooze? I wonder. Scarlett, you'd like to know what would happen if I stepped outside the vehicle. Well, with each individual leopard, it will be different as a general rule. And with this individual in specific, because he had so much time spent with trackers finding him as well as our live bushwalks, he has become incredibly habituated to people on foot. Now, it's not uncommon for young male leopards to be, and female leopards for that matter, be very relaxed with us as humans. And then as they become older, they become a little less tolerant of us. I've noticed that with a few male leopards, and I'm guessing the same will happen with him. But maybe not. Maybe he will continue to be kind of oblivious to our presence on foot. So it all depends on how you do it. Scarlett, if I got out very slowly and quietly and then just went and sat down in front of the vehicle and he poked his head up, he would probably be quite relaxed. I've also heard of a few instances of him coming actually closer to people that have found him on foot. So let's say, hypothetically, we found him and he was 30 meters away and he was completely relaxed with our presence. So we sat down and started filming him. And I'm told this has actually happened. And then he just gets up and walks closer for a better view. So he is unique, though. Not all leopards will be this relaxed to people on foot. But Scarlett, we won't be doing that. There's no need to unnecessarily give him any reason to get nervous of us, so we'll save those moments for when we are on bushwalk or when we do find him whilst on foot tracking. Guys, I'm just going to give everyone an update on the Game Drive radio just to let people know that he's stationary in his position, because it's been quite a while since I've updated anyone. Stations, Hosana is static on Shubham Treehouse junction. Very good. We are going to sit tight. I'm not even sure how much longer is left of the safari, but we will not be going anywhere until it's over. But for you, you will be going somewhere. You will be heading back to Noel. Yeah, still just sitting here patiently with young Hosana. He hasn't really flinched other than his ear that twitches from time to time to chase off some flies. Other than that, there we go. Other than that, there hasn't been any movement. And no real updates on Mvula Nelia. I know you're discussing that with Noel. I haven't heard his name on the radio for at least a week. So yeah, no updates on Mvula. Every time I head up to Buffelshoek Dam, I hope I'm going to see him there. And lots of pleasant memories with that leopard, especially in and around the Buffelshoek Dam. But no joy just yet. I'm sure our luck will turn at some point and we'll get to see him. It's been a long time since I've laid eyes on him, and I can't wait to see how he's kind of looking now compared to how I remember him. Eugene, you're interested to know if the leopards will actually know individual humans are on a vehicle, or do they assume us to be one big human? No, they can definitely tell that we are individuals. They know very well what eye contact is. They can tell that we are all our individual beings with our own two sets of eyes, all moving independently. So yes, I'm very, very confident that that is the fact. I think sometimes guides kind of will say in their opening speech when you first arrive to go on your first safari, the guides will give you a kind of safety briefing and the do's and the don'ts. And one of the things they'll say is they ask you to remain seated, not to stand up, because that will break the silhouette of the vehicle, which is one kind of uniform body. And I think maybe that's where the confusion possibly comes in. It's just so that, people don't stand up and, give the animal a fright for obvious reasons, because all of a sudden you're much taller than them, and it's the sudden movements more than the fact that you're actually standing up. If you all drove into the sighting standing up, it would be fine. It's that movement that may scare an animal if it's very close by. So, yeah, they definitely can tell that there's multiple people on vehicles, in my opinion. I wonder how much they can, distinguish between us as individuals. Like this leopard, for example, he's grown up spending a lot of time with Safari Life presenters and cameramen, and will he be able to distinguish one from the other? I wonder. Not convinced, but possibly. Their senses are so much better than ours, so their hearing is very acute, their smell is very acute. Maybe, they can smell that we are different or hear that we are different. Who knows? I personally haven't noticed any kind of leopards behaving differently to me as an individual. I think they just see us all as humans. Just like a lot of us will see them as leopards, and it's also difficult for us to distinguish one leopard from another because we're not the same species as them. So, except for some of you who have become wizards at identifying the leopards, I haven't become a wizard yet, and love all your help that you provide us with. So yeah, I think... Heather Lily, you'd like to know if I get sleepy sitting with a flat cat. Well, as a general rule, yes, it's very boring. But in a situation like this, after so much excitement and all the adrenaline from him coming onto the scene with us, having no idea that he was around, chasing those warthogs, following him, to spend half an hour with him sleeping as the sun begins to set is actually quite a relief. It's when it starts becoming the hotter hours of the day and hours on end that it starts becoming a bit tedious. But right now, I'm not sleepy at all. I guess it depends on the day. He still is sleepy though, as you will see. Just that ear twitching from time to time to chase off the flies. I wish I could twitch my ear like that. Andrew, you wondering if Tingana was on that scene earlier instead of Hosana? Would he have gone for the sow and not the piglets? I'm inclined to say no, he would have still gone for the piglets. Because it's just the easiest option as a general rule. So most predators would rather bank the easiest option, even if it's small, rather than taking on a bigger, trickier target. Also bear in mind that warthogs are dangerous. I mean, you know, they've got very sharp tusks. Not to say that Tingana can't handle a sow, fully grown sow. He definitely will be able to. But, you know, he's going to factor into the back of his mind there that there's definitely more risk involved. And I think all of the predators know that there's risk involved when they start hunting certain prey, be it lions hunting buffalo and or leopards hunting warthogs. But yeah, I mean, I guess the only way to know for certain is if we get to follow Tingana hunting warthogs in a similar situation. And who knows, we are going to be heading across to Tingana now. Let's hope some warthog and piglets pop onto the scene, and then we'll know exactly what would happen. Yes, well, how lucky are we that we are sitting with two leopards, one the father and one the son. And it's great to see Hosana again. I'm sure a lot of you are very happy that we got lucky and found him, because I'm not sure how long it had been since some of you had last seen him, but certainly the first time I've got to spend some quality time with him, and it was wonderful to have you along for the action. Let's take a look at him for the last few moments of the safari. A massive, massive thank you for everyone that joined in, of course, and well done to the team of FC Girls, both up in the Mara and down here in South Africa. They take turns, as they are two different directors for both shows these days, as well as all the cameramen, especially Senzo for capturing the high-speed chase of the warthogs. Be sure to tune in to the next safari. We're already looking forward to it. We'll see you then.